Sarno left the village in the mountains behind and headed to the northwest, where he found, let's find out. All right, so we're doing some overland. So as he travels to the northwest here, we need to roll 2d6 for the next type of terrain. 7. Same as current terrain. Right, so he found more mountains here. Okay. I think he's going to try to like just move around and find out what the limits of that are. Oh, wait. He is hiking. No, not hiking. He has to lead himself, so he has to lead the way. So this is a DC 12 intelligence roll. He's a -2. Okay, he does make it. Okay, good. So he continues hiking into further mountains. And in these mountains, nope, wrong guy, which are unsafe. That's written down. So we got 604. Unsafe. Let's find out whether he has any encounters here. We have to check 2 times. Oh, it's supposed to be 2d6. Yes. So he does run into an encounter in the mountains. Right. So just want to note here, this is morning. And what kind of encounter does he have in the mountains? That's the question. D100. And because it's a random encounter, I'm not going to bother with balancing this. 17. Salamanders. 1. One salamander slithers out of a misty, hot spring pool. So 1 salamander. How far away is it? It's near. So within 1 turn, they're going to be on top of each other. And it says slithers out of the pool. So what is it doing here in this pool? 6, eating. Oh, that's great. What do salamanders eat? Well, let's find out. Because I think for the salamander here, yeah, because it's fire-colored lizard folk with long tails, flame-like frills run down their back. They are fire immune, and creatures in close DC, wow, have to make a con save or take effectively fire damage. Right. So, or heat damage, I guess. Well, in any case, welcome back to Profi Plays, where we're going to be playing some more Shadow Dark. Sarno, last time, right, discovered the truth about PC Knight, right, and now is continuing, right, his exploration, which is really his goal. He wants to explore the world, and he was giving advice that, well, in that case, go into the West. The West we've been out of touch with for some time in the civilized world of the East. So head out that direction, see what you can find. That was basically what we were told. Okay. And apparently one thing that he found is a salamander. So the salamander here is a level 5 creature. It's near. So the question then becomes like, what is its attitude? Oh, I guess one thing I want to know what is its intelligence, right? Because if it has okay, it's a little bit low on the intelligence side. Right, so it's not okay, but I'm like lizard folk. These lizard folk, I would assume, can speak, right? Oh, but it's chaotic. Yeah, it's gonna attack him. I mean, that's really what it boils down to, is that it's going to attack him. Yeah. All right. So the salamander comes out of this hot spring and is going to attack him. There's really not much to be done about that. I mean, it's hungry. It may as well eat Sarno while we're at it. So let's go ahead and check what the initiative looks like here. Initiative, oh yeah, and so yeah, I typically would do red for the enemy, white for Sarno. Sarno got a 3, enemy got a 10. Yeah, Sarno's dexterity is not high enough to win that particular one. So it's attacking him, and it has 50. No, I read that wrong. It has 24 hit points. Oh goodness. Yeah, we've got to get out of this as fast as we possibly can. So it has either two flaming spears or one iron longbow. Well, it makes more sense to me that it would have a spear nearby, right? So it comes out of this hot spring pool, right? It has spears nearby. I think would make sense. It grabs those spears and runs after Sarno, and it's going to attack him. Okay, AC is 12. Is that a +4? Yeah, I'm sorry. AC was 13. This is at a +4. In any case, it's going to end up hitting him. And that is at a 1d6 and it would ignite anything flammable. Oh, goodness. You may have tuned in for the final episode of the story of Sarno. Oh, gosh, poor guy. All right. Well, the good news is that salamanders are no faster than dwarves, and therefore Sarno, our dwarf fighter, has the ability to just run away. And that is going to be what he's going to do. He is going to double speed it out of there. That is the idea. So the question then becomes, right, can he get away or not? Now, this is something where I haven't actually been able to find like good chase rules as far as that goes. Um, so there are kind of two ways I can handle this. One would just be the simple, yes, you get away. If you're going to run away, you can run away. As long as there isn't like any difference in movement speed, because there's no way that it can keep attacking you. It can keep up with you. So then there's the question of like, do you get exhausted before it does, or something like that? Which, constitution wise, for a dwarf, I mean, it's very possible he might actually get run down because he has a -1 on constitution, which salamander is a +2, so it is at least feasible. Um, but if we go that way, that would be what ends up happening. But I'm inclined to say I don't want Sarno to die yet, so I'm just gonna let him run away. So we'll just say he ran away. Here we go. Runs away, and that's that. All right. Well, that was an exciting morning. Uh, let's find out what else is here in this hex. So in terms of a point of interest, let's go ahead and roll it. 15. 15 is a hermit's abode. All right. What do we know about the hermit's abode? 13. The hermit's abode where a secret circle of wizards meets. All right. So I'm just going to make that note. So we have a hermit's abode where a secret circle of wizards meets. So So here's the question. So I think so we come up to this. So I mean, so apparently it's not a strict hermit who's actually living by themselves, since there's a circle of wizards that meets here, and it could be that there are a number of hermits around here. They're all kind of loosely connected, right? So they kind of get together occasionally. That's a possibility. Um, or it could just be like, and I almost want to use the term monastery, but they're not priests. So whatever, I guess, an academy or something like that. Um, but a hermitage one. Okay. So I think that might be what we're talking about. So it's a hermit's abode where a okay. I want to know something about these folks, and that would be what is their alignment? Okay, because that could have an impact here. One, they are lawful. So that means they would be inclined to give help. Now, right now, Sarno's in bad shape. So it would be good, right, for him to be able to rest. Because he only has one hit point left otherwise. So let's go ahead and give him that opportunity to rest, I think. Okay, so in order to do that, the first thing we need to do, right, is we need to make camp. So I'm going to go ahead and make camp here. Although, that's the question. I guess we don't have to make camp if there's, in fact, this hermit's abode there and they let us stay. So let's go ahead and check with that. Right, so we go to the hermits. We say we are clearly on our last leg. We have one hit point left. This is not going to be good. Uh, can you let in, right, a poor stranger right, who was terribly injured in a fight with a salamander? Right? Would they let him in? So, uh, in this case, I think it makes sense to roll some. I'm going to use the white tie. It's a good guy. We're going to roll some charisma and see whether that works. I'm just going to use the standard difficulty of 12. 20. That's a yes. That is a yes. All right, so that would also give me a luck token, except I already have one. And I think that it makes sense with one character, one luck token should be my limit. Right, so yes, they're perfectly willing to take him in, which is wonderful. All right, so he's going to stay here. He's going to consume some rations, right, over the course of the night, and is going to leave in the morning, and that will allow him then to heal. Wonderful. All right. So I guess remaining. So I guess things break down into morning, midday, evening, night. So just we'll say midday through night. He's resting at the hermit's abode. And they help take care of him and all of that. All right, cool. And then he's ready to go exploring again the next morning. So morning comes, and he is going to be, I guess, leading the way for himself. Um, going to head straight north. See if he can make it. Again, he rolls with advantage on this because of his background as a minstrel, so he knows how to navigate reasonably well. He needs a 12, but he's on -2. Nope, that is a fail. Right, so he is wandering, and he doesn't manage to leave. Do we have any? Nope. Okay, no random encounters though. Right, so we get to midday. He's still wandering around in the mountains here in 604. Okay. And let's try this again. That's a yes. Okay, so he does manage to get up to 603. Okay, so he's lost, but then he finds his way up here. So what kind of terrain do we have here? 3. So it's the current terrain plus 1 step. So mountain would turn into desert or Arctic. I'm going to say desert is what we found here. So I'm just going to denote that with dots. So a 603, we need a new page for this one, is desert. What's its safety level like? Or danger level like? Oh dear. And it's deadly. Okay. Which means when I search here for, no, search here, when I check for um, random encounters, I'm rolling 6 dice for this travel round. Okay, so yeah, that looks like that's right. Okay, so I've got here a total of 6 dice. Let's see what we've got in terms of random encounter, and then we'll search for point of interest. All right, 2 random encounters happen. Now, I think it might be kind of fun to combine the random encounters. So let's go ahead and do that. So both of these things happen simultaneously, and then that creates the possibility that maybe what we are coming in on is some kind of um, battle between two other groups, which might possibly be to our advantage. Okay, so desert here. Great. So what kind of random encounters happen in the desert? So first one, it's 15. 15 is a swarm of scarabs erupts from a low dune. So swarm of scarabs. And then what else? Oh, three. Rating bands. So rating bandits. Bandits. Okay, 3d6 rating bandits from the hidden city right into view. And that would be okay. This was a this die right there what it says on it. That's OSG because this was the gaming club that I belonged to in college. So this this die is like over 20 years old here. So that would indicate the six on this one. See, it's opposite the one. Right. So six, seven, 12. 12 bandits. 12 bandits from the hidden city. Hmm. So what I want to know now, right, is how are these two going to react to each other? Right, so we have these scarabs. Scarabs are not, I would not say these are intelligent creatures, um, and these bandits. So I guess I want to figure out what is the attitude of the scarabs toward the bandits. That's an 11. 11 would be curious, right? So that means what I was imagining here was hostile would be that they would attack immediately. Curious, I think this means they're just going to kind of watch and wait, right? So they're not actually interested in attacking the thing. I don't really think that the bandits would necessarily be interested in attacking scarabs either. They might be interested in attacking me, however. So let's get a little bit more detail about where they are, because I can imagine this ending up with me being in the hidden city, which could be kind of interesting. Two. So they are near. So I'm distracted by the scarabs, and then riding up within about 30 feet of me in the desert. Kind of weird to be that close. There they are, right? These bandits who are out here, uh, apparently eating as they ride. Whatever. So the question is, right? I mean, the bandits are not just going to ride past me, most likely. That'd be weird, right? So let's see. Well, maybe they might be doing something else. And I'm not like I am just one dwarf. I don't have a lot of stuff on me. So do the bandits attack me? That's the question. I think it's probably yes. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my 2d20 if in with advantage. 11 or higher is a yes. Yeah, 15 is definitely a yes. So, so yeah, they're definitely going to attack me. It's obvious to me I cannot take on a dozen bandits. I'm still a level one character. So I will happily surrender, right, to them. Right? So that's the question. Do they just want to like take my stuff or do they want to capture me? So I think capturing would be more interesting. Um, but them just taking my stuff, I mean, then I could just kind of keep exploring. But the fact that there's this hidden city there, I really want to go there. This is one of those times where I'm very tempted to roll randomly, but I think I want to do the more interesting thing and say that I get taken to that hidden city. Okay. Right, so that's what's going to happen. Right. So there's a hidden city, bandits, which I'm going to have to create. All right, cool. Now for this hidden city, I'm going to use the standard settlement creation here. I need to go grab a sheet of paper. I'm going to pause the recording real quick. Smash cut. Okay. All right, so I have here my sheet on which I can create my hidden city. You know what? Actually, there's no reason it has to be oriented vertically. I could orient it horizontally and then it fits on the camera somewhat better, doesn't it? Oh, isn't that nice? Okay. The things you learn. Okay. Well, this would also explain why this might be a deadly place as well. So, now we know that it's a city already, which means then to create it, I take 6d6, I roll them here on this space, and draw a line around it. That's going to be my city, and then each of these dice is going to indicate a district. So let's go ahead and roll it. All right, so there's my city in the desert. All right, so the general outline is something like this. Imperfections in the table. And then we have a district here, couple districts here, district here. So in terms of our districts, the one, these are the slums. Okay, I have a couple twos. These are low districts. And then fours, we have several market districts. So we have our districts here laid out. The next thing we need to do, each district has 1d4 uh, points of interest. Oh, I'm just going to mark where this is too. 0603, the hidden city, or hidden bandit city. Right, so this is like between some dunes, I'd say. So they capture me and they take me up here between some dunes, and then this city is there, which I mean, it's kind of hard to tell that it's there because you're kind of getting this mirage kind of sense from the heat rising up off of the desert. It would be hard to find this if you didn't know it was there. I'll just put it that way. All right, so in the low district, what do we have? Just one point of interest. What is the point of interest in that low district? It's a poor tavern. Oh, awesome, awesome. So there's a poor tavern here. Okay. What about? Oh wait. Okay, I was supposed to do the slum. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Then this other low district. How many points of interest does it have? See, another just one, which is five. A standard shop. Okay. How about this market district here? How many points of interest does it have? Again, just one. It is a fortune teller. It also makes sense to me in terms of alignment. This is going to be a chaotic city, which means we need to treat it as risky when checking for random encounters. So every other turn is when we'll have a random encounter. How about the slum? How many points of interest there? Two. Okay, what are those 2 points of interest? Four and a six. So it's a criminal safe house and a witch or warlock's hovel. We have just a couple more market districts to determine. So what does this market district have? It has 3 points of interest. Okay, cool. 3 points of interest are two threes and a six. In the market district, these are two rare and exotic goods. And then a six is an illicit black market. Which doesn't make sense. We have bandits. There's going to be some level of crime here. A two in the other one. It's three and a four. Also, it's again two rare and exotic goods. There we go. So this is what the city is like in terms of the general um, structure of it. So I want to know. Uh, we have these bandits that have just captured me. So I'm kind of wondering like, what their motive is. So I want to know a little bit more about the city. So let's look at one of the bandits. Okay. Right. So So the swarm of scarabs really didn't end up mattering much. So the bandits capture me, take me to the city. Now I want to know ancestry. So we know that generally speaking, it's a fairly human-centric universe, but nonetheless, there are lots of other possible. Oh, dwarves. Okay, so I'm going to say that, like, say the bandit captain of sorts. That's who I'm going to be looking at. So the bandit captain is a dwarf. Okay, is clearly going to be chaotically aligned. Age. Age, I need a D8 for that. Elderly. What about wealth level? Six for that one. Four. Apparently wealthy. Right, so this dwarf has done reasonably well for himself. Now let's find out a little bit more about him. So I'm going to do it's a 3d20 roll. Each one of these is going to indicate. Okay, oh, I've red, white, and blue. Very patriotic of me. Um, let's do this in alphabetical order. So blue, red, and white. So one. So we know that in terms of appearance, he's balding. Okay. In terms of behavior, he swaggers. It tells us something about his attitude as well. And then in terms of his secret, he's in love with the bartender. Well, we do know that there's this tavern over here, so it might possibly be that tavern. Maybe? Hmm, maybe, possibly. All right, so this is what we know. I would also like to learn more about. Oh, I can get more detail here. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's go a little bit more detail on some of these things. All right, so for example, this poor tavern. I'm just going to fill in some of these details because I like the whole creation process. Okay, so about the poor tavern. First thing I want a name for it. So let's do, actually, we'll do the same thing here. It's 13 as 13 18 6. So this is Cloak and Blade. Oh, that sounds cool. It's very Cloak and Dagger, obviously. Known for dancing contests. So it may be chaotic, but it's not, um, what's the word that I want? Dreary. That's it. So known for dancing contests. So there's a certain joy here as well. Drinks. There are two of them. We roll a d6 for each of them. So we roll. Those two drinks are number 2 and number 6. They sell watered down swill, which which only costs 3 copper pieces, but is toxic and takes away some constitution. And then 6, the house ale. The first mug of that is free. Okay, so a house ale. After that, it's 2 silver pieces a piece. All right, and then in terms of food, they have 3 different foods here from the poor list. So I'm going to need a couple more D12s in order to flush that out. So they sell 1, 5, and 8. Boiled cabbage, 5. Cheese and bread. That's not bad. And then mushroom kebab. Very nice. Okay, so that is about this poor tavern, what we know about that one. Very nice. We also have one standard shop. Now, these rare goods shops, there's not a table for those. But standard shop, there is a table for that, where I need to roll a d10. Find what kind of shop that is. You go, it's number 6. That's a leather worker. Okay. So that'd be a good place if I want to get some leather armor or something like that. Which actually I might to do that. Be perfect. Okay. All right. And with there being market districts here, I'm going to assume that kind of the standard stuff is available. Right. So things like I can buy rations, I can buy torches and the like. All right. Although this is a bandit city and I'm currently captured. So I want to know these folks who've captured me. I'm curious what their motive is, right? So what are they hoping to get out of having captured me? Like, I don't look like somebody who would command a great ransom or something like that. I'm a lone dwarf wandering through a desert, right? So I doubt that that is the motive. Just put it that way. Um, so yeah, let's find out. So what is their motive? Um, I have here my prompts table right, from Shadow Dark from the Solo Dark supplement. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll on that. It's a D100 roll. Roll it twice and see what we get. 32 is their motive. 32 is to reveal. 63, victory. To reveal victory. Oh, I also need a name for the bandit captain. I'll just go ahead and roll on the random table. Come with this. Well, Riga. All right. So the goal here of the bandits in capturing me is to reveal victory. Now, I'm trying to think of what that could mean. So reveal victory. Like it feels like there was some kind of conflict that happened. They want to know who won at this particular conflict. So they're just trying to get information, is the idea. The problem, of course, is that I don't know anything about this conflict that happened. I know absolutely nothing. Right, so let's find out a little bit more about the possible possibilities with this conflict. So I'm going to turn here right, in Shadow Dark to the rumors table. So I'm going to find out. So they're grilling me. So what do you know about? What do you? Who won? Who won? And I'm like, I literally have no idea what you're talking about. So what are you talking about? At 75. The Cyclopean ruins of Talyul lie deep within the forest. Okay, so how do we work that in? So it's the Cyclopean ruins of Talyul lie deep within the forest. To which I can, of course, say, like, what forest are we talking about? Yeah, I mean, like, yes, I did go through a forest, but that was several days ago. That's pretty far away. It's so like what happened in these ruins, right? Who is it that was like involved at all? So I have a hunch, right, that what was actually going on was that there was a group of bandit adventurers, crawlers, right, that had heard this rumor about these ruins and went to go explore them. I think that is it. And what they really want to know is what happened right, with this group of crawlers. So I think that that's it. So I think that means then I pull a different table So this is really about a set of rival crawlers, right, who came from this city. Right, so that's it. So here's a set of crawlers. How many members did they have? They had two members, so they had a pair. So two crawlers. I'm gonna say they're both dwarf. Oh, wait, no, let's go ahead and roll both of their ancestries. 11. So they're both half orcs that left and went. And let's see what they were. They were a thief. Well, that makes sense. Actually, there were two thieves. Okay. And seeing as they're bandits, that makes some degree of sense. Let's see. The alignment, I mean, is obviously chaotic. Uh, so how well known are they? Right. They're locally known. So, okay. Right. So that makes some degree of sense. And then party secret. 7 map to a major treasure. Okay, this makes perfect sense now. This makes perfect sense. How wealthy were they? Standard. Okay. So I need to have a name for them as well. So let's go ahead and roll this. Again, we're going to do alphabetical order. It is 616-1. So it is the Marvelous Oath. And they are known for defeating a dragon. And what is their signature tactic? Is to target the helpless. So I'm gonna guess they defeated a dragon. It was like it was on its last legs anyway. All right. So so the story that I'm managing to get out of them that they want more information about is that there is uh these I'm gonna say brothers, right? So these half-orc brothers, right, uh, who called themselves the Marvelous Oath, right, and went wandering off across the desert because they had heard a rumor that there was a city, a ruined city, um, that contained fabulous treasure in it, and that they were hoping to go and claim that for themselves. And so, but nobody's heard from them in quite some time. Right, so that is the problem that we have. So the question then becomes for me, what do they want from me? I mean, the most obvious thing is for me to agree to bring them any information that I happen to find. And no, it says they also had, right, they had a map to a major treasure. Unfortunately, they obviously would have taken that map with them, right? So all we know is kind of the vague direction in which they went. So let's go ahead and go with that. So what I know is that they left in which direction? I'm just gonna roll a d6. So start with one is north. They went north. Okay. So they went north. So that means that for me to find them, I'll have to go north as well, right? So I have a new goal. That is to find the marvelous oath who traveled north of 0603. All right. I'm also going to draw here 603. There's a city here as well. So I'm just going to draw some hovels in there. So in the desert, there's a little city as well. All right. So somewhere up here, there may be a forest. We don't know whether there actually is a forest. We don't even know that that is the direction they would have ended up going. So it's very possible, right? So I mean, if you're going anywhere like in this general area, it makes some degree of sense that you would leave the desert by going north. Okay. Right. So they could be anywhere in that 0401. 0501, 0502, 0601, 0602, 0701, 0702. I'm just making my notes here because otherwise I will forget what I was doing. 0801 is all perfectly viable. Um, so I'm looking for a forest here. If I find that forest, then we get to find out, are in fact the ruins of Talyul there? And in any case, as we travel, are we running into the Marvelous Oath, this pair of half-orc bandit adventurers? Right, so I think that's a good place to end it. Right, so next time, right, Sarno is going to be leaving the hidden city and searching for this half-orc pair as he is continuing to explore the West, being his own personal goal. But as for now, this is Prof. E signing off.